Back in September, when the world witnessed the assassination of Charlie Kirk, we had a number of teachers who felt compelled to go on social media and share their opinion about the situation. Now, a lot of those teachers were dismissed from their position, and we had quite a few teachers who were put on paid leave pending an investigation. Now, those investigations, sometimes they were done in-house, and some districts actually hired third parties to conduct the investigation. So it not only cost the district time, but it also cost the district money as well in some instances. Now, that was the case. This teacher was put on leave, and he's actually coming back to work. Check this out.
All right, thank you, Kristen. New this morning, back to the classroom. Barrington teacher who made national headlines for posting politically charged content to TikTok following the death of Charlie Kirk is supposed to go back to work.
NBC 10's Abby Betacavoli is live for us in Barrington with some reaction to this teacher being reinstated. Abby, good morning.
Allison, Mario, good morning. Benjamin Philo is expected to walk through the doors here at Barrington High School today after being placed on temporary leave, a move that's getting mixed reaction. Philo is a social studies teacher here in Barrington. He has been on leave for about 10 weeks. It was back in September. The 16-year veteran educator at Barrington High School was temporarily removed from his role after publicly posting 2 politically charged videos on TikTok, expressing his lack of remorse for the death of right-wing political activist Charlie Kirk. Some parents and students demanded his immediate termination.
What he said about a dead man, whether you like him or not, that's nasty to say to somebody or about somebody that was politically assassinated.
I'm happy he's being reinstated. I think that we need to commit more back to our Constitution and the right to free speech.
Now, there's a lot being made about the right to free speech, and we're going to talk about why schools are allowed to issue consequences in cases like this, and I think a lot of teachers do know, but then there's quite a few teachers who don't know. A lot of these teachers did not know, and they want to lean on free speech, but there's another side to it that they just weren't considering.
As long as he's learned a little bit from it and kind of keeps some of his opinions to himself in the classroom. If he's a good teacher, he's a good teacher.
The school committee says Philo was in violation of the district's social media policy, but it was being threatened with a legal battle from teachers' unions. And school officials say there will be heightened police presence throughout the district for the foreseeable future.
And see, that's the other part. Remember, I told you we were going to talk about the other side. Like that's the other thing. Yes, of course, you have. You can say what you want to say. It's one of the great things about this country. But when you are a teacher, you have to understand that there could potentially be backlash that your employer is going to have to deal with. That's it right there. So let's go back. Let's go back in time and check out. I think he's deleted the video, but this is the teacher we're talking about, Mr. Philo. He posted this video back in September, shortly after the murder of Charlie Kirk. And the district announced the decision in a statement on Thursday evening. So he was placed on leave September 11th. September 11th, as of this filming, is December 1st. I'm writing to inform you that a teacher, so he reported back to school today. To inform you that a teacher in Barrington Public Schools has been placed on paid administrative leave while we conduct a thorough investigation led by a third-party investigator. Ladies and gentlemen, they're hiring a third-party investigator to look into this related to his social media activity. Barrington Public Schools holds its staff to the highest professional standards. We will always take appropriate steps to ensure safe, respectful, supportive environment. All right, now let's look at some of the quotes from the video. Mr. Philo, he called shortly after the man died, he called him a piece of garbage. I have about as much sympathy for Charlie Kirk right now as I do for all those farmers across the country who want socialist handouts from the government right now. Philo said, this is a man who hated LGBTQ community, who hated women's rights and hated democracy, who thought that he was a big man because he went to college campuses and debated young college students and thought he proved how tough he was with his words that he studied ahead of time. What a piece of garbage. This is what happens. I'm curious if we're going to want to take guns away from who will inevitably be the white man who shot and killed him. Bye, Charlie. Man, that's rough. That's really rough. And so, yes, obviously, you're free to say those things. I think we can all agree that, man, that's just like the man just died. That's not very sensitive. But he's got these feelings, and you know what? You're allowed to feel what you feel. That's fine. But when you're a teacher, you have to understand you're a part of a community. Not only are you part of that community, you are serving that community. That's the thing right there. And my other channel, where I speak to teachers, the name of the channel is Teachers Are Leaders. You are a leader. You're a leader. You can't pop off like that with your opinions, your unfiltered opinion like that. You can't do it. Check this out. The video was circulated widely throughout the community and beyond. And this beyond part, you're going to have people in other states. They're going to be flooding the principal of your school with messages like, how dare you? In addition to people from the community who don't like the insensitivity here. And it drew a quick reaction from some residents who emailed the school department. Yeah, it wasn't one email. It wasn't two. It wasn't three. It wasn't 10. It wasn't 20. It wasn't 30. I'm sure it was hundreds of emails and voicemails. The nature of these comments is deeply troubling, not only because of what was said, but also because of how it was expressed, wrote a parent in an email to the district on Thursday, September 11th. Raises serious questions about Mr. Philo's professionalism, judgment, and role as an educator who is entrusted with safety, well-being, and development of our children. And that's all children, right? Including those who support Charlie Kirk. And you know what? This is well said. Like, this is like, yes, you have to consider that professionalism, your judgment, your role as an educator / leader. That you have to consider. You have to consider when you're weighing your right to free speech and to say whatever you want to say. You also have to look at these are your responsibilities as well. To show top-notch professionalism, judgment, role as an educator, all of that. Let's see. Let's go down to what the school said here. The school said Barrington Public Schools policy regarding social media use by staff and volunteers states BPS acknowledges that its staff and volunteers have a First Amendment right to speak. Yes, you have First Amendment right to speak as private citizens on matters of public concern. At the same time, however, the district has a right and responsibility to regulate BPS staff and volunteers' online conduct under specific circumstances, including when the staff and volunteers' online speech impedes the performance of the staff or volunteers' duties or interferes with the school's ability to operate effectively. Really, disruption of school activity. Disruption of school activity. This TikTok video has caused a disruption of school activity. We're spending more time responding to this post by one of our teachers than we are focused on the mission, which is to help all kids learn and grow. That, up till now, courts have allowed schools to make that call. that, hey, this is a disruption of school activity, and as a result, we're putting you on leave pending an investigation. Well, now there's a lot that's happened between September 11th and today, and so now you saw in that the previous video that Mr. Philo is now allowed to go back to work. But I know some would look at it as, well, yeah, he got to stay home and he got paid, but I think for most teachers out there, like that's kind of rough, being away from your classroom, away from your students, not being able to do what you love, make an impact. He paid a price. He paid a price, and his students also paid a price as well, because I'm sure there was an adjustment period in getting a substitute in there. And that's not as good as having a fully certified teacher in the classroom. So all around there was a price to be paid because of this post. So this is just a reminder, because there was a lot of stories like this. So this is just a follow-up to this particular story, that this person was able to get his job back, but it was after a very lengthy absence. Well, hopefully he has a good day. Then also the other thing is that they've got the police at their school. That's not ideal. That's not ideal to have the police presence, but as we all know, it's probably necessary for a few days, just because of the way things are. So okay, so we'll keep an eye on this story. Hopefully there's nothing else going on with this story, and it's just school as usual. Mr. Philo is welcome back, open arms, and things just flow as they are supposed to. That's what we hope for. And hopefully there's no updates there. Well, I thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next update.